This is Nogales, a city divided by the border fence. To the left is the town of Nogales, Arizona. To the right is the Mexican city of Nogales, Sonora. For a long time, these two cities were referred to as one community, ambos Nogales, both Nogales. Today, the fence divides them. You can see it down there, that long dark line. The red dot is where our story begins. That's where a Mexican teenager was shot and killed by a U.S. Border Patrol agent in 2012. The boy was in Mexico at the time. The agent was in the United States. He shot him through the fence. Down on the ground, that long dark line becomes a tall steel barrier. This fence was built in 2011. It varies in height from 18 to 30 feet. Agents prefer this slatted design to a solid wall because it lets them observe activity on the other side. Border security has been a priority in Washington, and funding has sharply increased. In the last 10 years, the number of agents on the ground has more than doubled. The drug cartels on the Mexican side play a game of cat and mouse with these agents. They use a network of scouts to track and report the Border Patrol's every movement. When the coast is clear, they'll radio to smugglers who will try to cross into the U.S. with their contraband. On October 10, 2012, Border Patrol agents and local police responded to a call that two smugglers were trying to climb the fence back into Mexico after delivering marijuana to the U.S. side. This was the spot, but what happened here remains contested. According to police reports and a statement from the Border Patrol, as the agents commanded the smugglers to climb down, rocks began flying over the fence from the Mexican side. So-called rockings are a common method the narcos use to distract the agents. As the situation grew more tense, a Border Patrol agent named Lonnie Swartz arrived and began firing his gun through the fence. Down there on the street, a boy named Jose Antonio Elena Rodriguez was walking to meet his brother. Agent Swartz shot him 10 times, killing him. All the shots entered from the back of his body. Jose Antonio was unarmed. Jose Antonio's family comes often to visit the site of his death here on the Mexican side. That's his mother, Araceli, there in blue, with his two half-sisters and his little cousin. They say that Jose Antonio was innocent, just walking down the street on his way to meet his older brother, who works at a nearby convenience store. They say he wasn't throwing rocks. Turn around and look behind you, at the fence. From where Jose Antonio stood, even if he were throwing rocks, he would have had to throw them over 40 feet high to clear the top of the fence. This is Jose Antonio's paternal grandmother, Taide Elena. She lives in Nogales, Arizona. She's a U.S. citizen, having legally immigrated here 20 years ago. Like a lot of people in the area, she has family on both sides.
Estaba en su país.
He was in his country. He was walking on a sidewalk in his country, in his city.
Entonces, cuando tú sientes en carne propia,
When it's your own flesh and blood,
eso
that
es
is when
cuando
it
tú
changes
dices,
the way you think
pues
about the
aquí
border.
te cambia tu manera de pensar sobre la borde.
6 months after the shooting, Araceli says the U.S. Justice Department interviewed her about the incident, but the family received no further word for the next 2 years. The fact that the agent had been on U.S. soil and the victim on Mexican soil put the case in a kind of legal limbo. In a similar case in Texas, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in 2015 that the Mexican victim's family had no grounds for a civil lawsuit because he was not protected by the U.S. Constitution. Finally, in 2015, a few weeks before the third anniversary of Jose Antonio's death, Swartz was indicted in Tucson. He's the first Border Patrol agent to face federal murder charges in a cross-border shooting. He pleaded not guilty. Araceli was given a temporary visa to attend the hearing. It was her first time in the United States. Her son, Jose Antonio, never crossed the border.